I'm Malcolm Harbour. For 15 years up to 2014, I was a member of the European Parliament for the West Midlands of the UK. And during my time in the European Parliament, I developed a really intense interest in public procurement. And indeed, I think public procurement is one of the most underutilised tools to modernise, update and make public services really work better. I had the opportunity in my last 5 years in the European Parliament to chair the committee that got through the reform of public procurement rules that was implemented very quickly by the UK government in the public contract regulations in 2015. Many of you watching that will be very familiar with this. Now, the government was really keen on the changes that we brought in, and they've already made it clear that they're not going to make any changes to the public procurement rules, whatever happens around Brexit. So that's a stable platform for us to go forward. And so my first message is that we worked really hard politically to make sure that those rules really opened up procurement for innovative ideas. Procurement's not just about buying at the lowest price. It's about looking at a range of other factors which you can introduce into those sort of negotiated procurements. And so a key message, first of all, is there is nothing in the new rules that actually stops innovative procurement. Anybody who tells you that it's forbidden by rules, don't listen to them. But the second message about that is that you need to bring your procurement teams into play early on in the process. Now, why am I very passionate about that? Because since I retired from active politics, I've had the opportunity to work with practitioners in the UK about issues surrounding innovative procurement. The Local Government Association, the LGA, asked me to chair a committee, an independent task force committee, to actually come up with recommendations and advice about encouraging innovation in local government procurement. That report, which I wrote as well as chairing the committee and overseeing the overall research, is available on their website, and it's been one of the most successful reports, so do have a look at it. But I'm now pleased to say that I have a slightly more formal role as an associate of the Connected Places Catapult. Many of you may know this is a new catapult formed from a link between the Future Cities Catapult and the Transport Systems Catapult. And so they've asked me to bring some of that energy and advocacy for innovative public procurement into that space. And many of you indeed may already be working with pioneers. So what's it all about? Well, the first thing is, and it's quite clear from our findings, is that if public sector organisations are going to become more innovative in the way that they deploy new technologies, new ways of delivering services, that process has to be led from the very top of the organisation. You need an innovative culture in an organisation, one that encourages people to come up with ideas and challenges some existing practices. I mean, just buying what you've always done is not necessarily the solution for the future. And actually, we have to start thinking much more about what the solutions are that you want to deploy. What are they going to deliver for citizens? Don't specify how it's to be done, but actually what you want is going to be done. As we would say in a bit more of a jargon phrase, an outcome-based procurement. And that includes important issues like social value as well, which many of you are already contending with. And one of our criticisms of our report is that ideas around social value have actually become very detached from the whole innovative procurement space, because that's an area where more innovation can be deployed. So lead from the top. Think about becoming an innovative organisation. And also think about the fact that many great ideas will actually be being developed and incubated by enthusiastic entrepreneurs and inventors. And they're people who want to become your customers. But over the years, they become very discouraged about what they see as a very bureaucratic process of selling into the public sector. One of the things that my colleagues and I put into the new European legislation was to make it far easier for small enterprises. We made the pre-qualification requirements cheaper and simpler. We encouraged local authorities to look at large-scale contracts and to look at ways in which they could split that contract up into specific areas where small businesses could bid. We raised the limit so that a small business with ambitions doesn't need to be constrained for bidding for a larger contract. Now, all of those things you can be using and thinking about now. But above all, think about the interface with small enterprises. If I'm an entrepreneur running a small business who's got great ideas about improving your services, improving your waste recycling, improving your links with citizens, where do I go in your organisation? How many of you have a clear innovation champion, someone I could go and talk to put those ideas forward? And also remember that one of the techniques we really need to be using more in procurement is to encourage entrepreneurs and companies to compete on the basis of the quality of their ideas, and you help and co-develop those ideas with them. Better engagement between customers and what customers want and their suppliers is one of the key points of these new procurement tools. So I think my closing message is, think about innovation from the top, creating innovation organisations, bring your procurement teams in, look at the wide range of new opportunities that are there for you. There's not just one single tool to use in public procurement. It's a very flexible process. And while there are new tools called innovation partnerships, there are also well-established tools, pre-commercial procurement, competitive dialogue with negotiation, design contests. All of these things are available. So you must bring your procurement teams in as part of that strategic thinking around what you want to do, what solutions you want to solve, and how you're going to go out into the marketplace to come with the optimum solutions. And make sure that that challenge process goes throughout your organisation. So anything that my colleagues and I in the Connected Places Catapult and the LGA can do to help you, that will be really welcome. We're encouraging government programmes where they're putting money into these to give us better documented, better structured case studies that will help you find your way through those. But above all, think innovation first and think around the new possibilities. Don't think of it as a legalistic process. Think of it as a really creative process to help you deliver public services better. Innovative organisations are led by innovative leaders who really encourage people to think about new ideas and to rethink all the time. Fresh thinking is absolutely essential. And I think in the public sector, one of the issues that we have to tackle is that procuring those innovations, bringing them actually into the system, is somehow seen as a more legalistic and difficult process. I've been into organisations and talked to their procurement teams, and they say, well, we worked internally. Somebody came to us with some great ideas, but because they'd already been talking to suppliers independently, we couldn't operate the sort of innovative procedure that we really wanted to. So the regulations around public procurement are your friend and not your enemy. It's not a rigid process. It's one where there's lots of tools you can use. So for any ideas around public procurement, applying new solutions in digital technology, in construction, in architecture, in waste management, in social value commissioning, in education, all of these sort of areas, make sure you bring your procurement teams in as you start to evolve the ideas. And the other crucial thing is to think about where great ideas will come from. Because we know there are lots of innovative small organisations out there who find currently that the process of selling to the public sector, they find it tiresome and bureaucratic. And they have a complete lack of confidence they will actually get a hearing. So it's up to you to build those interfaces. Set up someone in your organisation who's seen as being an innovation champion, who can champion through the organisation, but also be that receptor for the small enterprise who has a great idea to come in and talk to you. That's really important to do that. And secondly, to look at some of the things that are going on through the public sector at the moment. Government digital services have been looking at different ways to procure large systems. They're also running, in conjunction with Innovate UK, a so-called Catalyst programme to encourage innovative small companies to pitch ideas to co-development with you as the customer. And there are lots of other things going on, and the Future Cities and Transport Systems Catapult, now amalgamated together in the Connected Places Catapult, which is the key innovation hub in this area, is doing a lot of work. I'm privileged to be an associate there, and I'm trying to bring some of my evangelism and interest and encouragement in innovative public procurement to them as well. So there are plenty of ways in which you can be helped. But above all, think about this as a real challenge for your leadership, and think about ways about how you can encourage and reward innovative ideas. And if you like, to do an innovation audit or health check to make sure you're really making the best of what's out there in the marketplace. One of the points that regularly came up in our discussions when we did the Local Government Association report was people saying to us, it's all very well you talking about all these exciting ideas about innovation, but as you know, our priority is constantly to cut our budgets, because that's the time we're living in. And that is a difficult obstacle to get over. But the point that we put across them very strongly is that if we're going to deliver and meet citizens' expectations in future, we're going to have to think radically in order to do that. And indeed, some of the companies that we talked to, they said to us, we can see how we can fundamentally change the way that this organisation can deliver its services. And we're there ready to go with that. But somehow we have to get across them that more radical solutions are going to be essential. And that is going to be an obstacle, but that comes back to running an innovative organisation as a whole. And some of the innovations may require reconfiguration, doing things differently, which is why you should think about your procurements not in terms of what you're already doing, because they will simply ending up buying the same old thing, but actually to take an opportunity to take stock about which way things could be done in a different way. And part of the advantages of adopting a more innovative procedure is you can get a number of suppliers in and you can challenge them to come up with different solutions and work with them to do that. And not only that, but they could turn into more adventurous and larger organisations and go on and deliver those services to other people. Procurement is a really effective way and a very cost-effective way of stimulating innovation in the real economy. And some of the people we've talked to in local government in particular see that as an opportunity to help small businesses in their own communities come up and deliver ideas for them as public customers, but actually then go on and create more jobs and more economic activity in their local space. So in that sense, operating in a more innovative way is a win-win solution, making your organisation work better and reaching out to citizens. And of course those citizens are becoming increasingly demanding about the use of technology, because all of them have fantastic technologies in their pocket through their smart devices. And they're getting information regularly all the time. And citizens are going to be increasingly intolerant of public service delivery which is out of date and not using the most up-to-date technology. So there may be risks involved in innovating. But actually, in my view, the risk in any public organisation and public support is not innovating.